Hey everyone, I'm Aiden Walls and today we are looking at the Datafrog SF2000. Alright, so what I've been getting into is I'll do an unboxing and then I'll spend some time with the device and then get my conclusions. And then if I feel like the device is worth it, I will give it a 1 month later review. It is getting difficult to do that because I'm getting more and more devices, but I'm trying my best to get that done. As sort of like a service level agreement between me and my viewers. All right. So the reason I got this, I saw this device trending online and I went onto AliExpress, clicked on it, and I didn't realize that AliExpress has the sort of immediate buy now feature, and I bought it. It went off my bank account, and it took a very long time to get here because they use normal post. And I wanted to just check it out. I thought it would be interesting. So I didn't cancel the order because it is essentially the cheapest sort of usable, worthwhile device to look at. Well, that's what I want to decide. I want to decide, is this worth it? Because I live in South Africa where a lot of guys get hold of me and say, I talk about the Miu Mini or the RG35XX, and they get hold of me and they say, that's a lot of money, man. How are you affording this? And obviously I'm getting them for the channel. And so for a lot of people here, those kind of things are expensive. And so for me to find something that I can say, yep, pretty good, you can buy it, would be nice. So this, for my South African viewers, I think in total, I ended up paying about 750 Rand, maybe a little bit more, with shipping and everything, because it goes normal post, so that's a lot cheaper. So if your post office, your local post office is reliable, then this is something to look into. Oh, well, let's just quickly take a look at the box. So it just says handheld game station, 6,000 games, 2.4 gigahertz wireless game controller. So apparently you can connect like one of these 8-bit DO controllers to it. I don't know how true that is. This just says wireless transmitting distance, 6,000 games, 5 to 6 hours of game playing, handheld gaming console or a wireless controller. It'll be interesting to see if I can do 2-player with this. I mean, imagine if you can do 2-player games with this. One person plays with that, one person plays with that. That'd be really nice. It's not OCA laminated, which means there's a gap between the LCD panel and the piece of glass, which kind of sucks. But therein lies the beauty of this. This is kind of retro to current emulators. So, the current emulators have progressed, and this is going back to the olden days when we first discovered emulators. So it kind of is retro to retro. Storage mode supports a TF card, and I think this one comes with a TF card. We've got the D-pad, game function key, start and select. It's got a TF card, DC input. Interesting. Power switch, AV out. DC input just means there's a charging port. It does have a joystick, so that'll be interesting to try out. It looks really cheap and nasty. It's got a volume, a rocker, a volume wheel, which I always like, and an AV output. This is the sort of package you get your loaf of bread in or something. That's really like a shifty little packet. All right, so let's just set it aside for a second and just see what's in the box. Cradle. And it's got your AV output cable here. Nothing much to it. It's quite long, which is nice. They really kind of are investing in this AV out opportunity. So, and then they have given quite a long cable. So that is quite nice. Usually it's too short, and then it's quite frustrating to play with this. So that is quite nice to have. USB-C cable, and then we've got a manual. We do have a manual, people. Main interface, up and down buttons, select simulator. Okay, so it's got an interface, and it's kind of set in stone. I don't think we can do custom firmware here. So if you want to get your own games on here, it guides you through the steps on how to put those games and what folders to put them into. This is just over $20 on AliExpress, which is a bargain. Let's see if it's worth it. So if you compare this to the RG351P, you'll see that the buttons are a lot smaller on this device compared to this, which is really nice. The original NES and the Famicom and the buttons were about this size. They are quite flush with the device, but they do have a firm clickiness to them, I would say. So that is good. I'm just worried about when you press that they actually go flush with the device. That is a bit of a concern. Start and select are rubber soft membranes, just like an old Game Boy. I think my Famicom also had these squishy buttons. Okay, and this joystick feels terrible. It really does. It's got very little range of motion. I mean, other than that, it's all right. It's got a rubber cap on it, so that's good. But it doesn't have much of a range of motion. And then this D-pad, let's feel. It's just kind of, it's actually a bit firmer than, say, the Miu Mini, which is a bit more true to the olden day D-pads. We'll have to see if you get, so, you know, when you push on the side of a D-pad like this, sometimes you get an up and down register. So my wife was playing Tetris on the RG35XX the other day, which is a lot more expensive than this, and she was pressing sideways and the blocks were just falling down. So she was getting ghost up and downs, which is not good for a device that's of that price. So we'll see if this does that. Shoulder buttons, clicky shoulder buttons, but it has shoulder buttons, maybe for saves and that kind of thing, and for Game Boy Advance. And then I'm particularly interested in playing Game Boy Advance on this. Game Boy Advance and Game Boy. I think Game Boy is going to feel fantastic on here. You got your charging port, you got your TF slot, which has, yeah, it's got a card in there. I don't want to pop it out. It's a really terrible TF card slot. My AV out, my volume rocker, and what is this? This is our power button. Okay, let's take this little screen protector off, switch it on. So it's an on switch, which I don't like, with the V90. Oh, nice little welcome screen. So the first thing we're going to do is try and get rid of that music. Now that I'm making the video, I'm realizing this OCA laminated screen is going to create a glare. So this camera, it might struggle in this video, so I do apologize for that. But therein kind of lies the interestingness of this device. Okay, well, I'm just kind of jumping around everywhere, but only the speaker works. So this is fake. Just turn it down. What I do know so far is that this is an 18650 battery, which has been made popular, and so which is nice because it's quite a good type of battery. It was made popular with e-cigarettes and with FPV drones and a few other things. And so it's a lithium-ion battery, which means it lasts longer and it's got a nice even power delivery, and it doesn't degrade if you charge it on and off. So that's a good battery to have in there. All right, so it's stretched it throughout the screen. I don't think I have settings here. So we're kind of stuck with that, and we're stuck with the way it's emulated. It is kind of all messed up, which I must say, it adds to the experience, I think. Let's have a look. Some serious screen tearing going on. It's like almost wobbling the screen. I feel like the buttons might be swapped. Maybe I'm just not used to this, but it feels like I think the buttons are swapped. You can comment below if the buttons aren't swapped, if I'm just confused. This just doesn't... This isn't the music I remember from this game. But you can actually add your own ROMs, so that is a nice thing about this. So even though the firmware might not be customizable, you can add your own ROMs. I think buttons were swapped in this game, and sort of compared to Mario. Yay! Cool. Let's try and save that. There we go. It shows a save. So you actually got you got 4 save slots. So far, the screen is not half as bad as I thought it would be. The screen is kind of trashy, but that's kind of the beauty of this thing. That's the reason I ordered it. I thought it would be quite fun to try. These big buttons are great. I like these little big buttons. Oh, put a stutter. It's like serious, weird, the way it reads the game. Like it makes the screen almost wobble. And there's definitely, you can hear that audio stutter. Joystick works nicely. Yeah, like some serious audio stuttering. But audio stutter, but it's working, like it's playing nicely. Not that I like this game. The elevator music is kind of like comical. It just makes it interesting and fun. I enjoy Advance Wars, but that's going to be a bit boring to show you. This D-pad is very responsive, nice and direct and firm, so that is nice. Yeah, the screen is very bright. So now what I do know is that you can't set the brightness. So this is not something that you're going to play in bed, but something during daylight hours it's pretty good. I mean, I am in the studio, but I do have this bright light shining at me. and it seems pretty damn good to me. So let's see. Yeah, it's got this like screen tearing on the screen that just kind of makes it feel authentic. It makes it feel olden days. It does a very nice ergonomics. So this little bulge makes it really nice to hold. It feels like an SNES controller. What I just did there was I tapped this and it shut the whole thing down, which I said to you in the beginning, I don't like that. With the PowerKitty V90, you often just forget and you switch it off, and then you don't realize you actually got to shut the thing down. So I can't find a place to actually power this thing down. So I'm guessing that you just switch it off, which is terrible and unnerving. All right. So, and also the buttons are weird. So you have to start to get in the menu and then start to play a game here. But if you're here, you got to select to go out there. But if you're here with these bigger icons, you have to press, I think you can press start, but you can also press A to play a game. So it's like got these weird little quirks. But like I said, overall, the ergonomics, like for a $23 or $24 device, are fantastic. Like it feels really nice in the hand. The screen is nice and bright, which kind of pushes through that OCA lamination, and I must be honest, I haven't really felt like it's OCA laminated. There again, I've touched the jolly power button, so you're going to be very careful there. That's a huge problem. Hopefully it doesn't mess it up if you do that the whole time. There you go. I love these squishy buttons. They take me right to my Famicom device. All right, so I'm getting some false button presses there. I didn't get it in Tetris, but there. Getting it on that side, but not on this side. Yeah, so it's not perfect, but let's just see. I have to say, this controller is really nice to hold and use. Like, it's really, really nice. The D-pad, like I showed there, does have some issues, but I think overall, not too bad. As you can see, I'm not doing my usual like super intense video with this because I think for $24, I don't need to go into incredible research for you. I think if I can tell you it's pretty good, then it's worth the money. And so I think the only thing I want to do is put my own games on and test that and then give you my final conclusion. What's nice about this is it's a no mess, no fuss solution. So if it's for someone who's not a tinkerer, so most people watching this channel are those sorts of people who want to put custom firmware on and all that sort of thing. This is definitely not for you. This is the sort of device you're buying for just a friend or yourself for just messing around and not worrying about tinkering and not worrying about perfect pixels and all that kind of thing. It just does the job down and dirty and does it quite well for the money. So far I'm pretty impressed. So if I can add my ROMs and play those as well, then I really think this is just a steal for $24. I think I watched one other reviewer that made a review on this and they didn't say the same thing as me, but I so far I'm going to give myself the night, sleep on it, and try put some ROMs on here. But so far, I really feel like this is a device. I don't know. I like it. I really, really like it. Feels good in the hand, plays well, switches off randomly, but, plays ROMs pretty well. Let's play some Sonic. So it's got a few favorites in the beginning there, but I don't know how to change that. Maybe you can do it in the code or something. But therein again lies the beauty of this little thing. So they've kind of just pre-selected a few favorites for you. So if you want to just open it up and play something, it's there. The thing about a small screen like this is all the pixels are condensed, and like this Megadrive, it looks really good, man. The color maybe is not the perfect colors. I'm not going to even analyze that because I don't think it's worth it. I just think it's nice color. It looks good. I think anyone who sees this after they've paid that price for this is going to be pleasantly surprised. Yeah, this D-pad's done and doing a little bit of clicking here and there, so it's not ideal. These buttons, these AB buttons, are really nice to use. So I read something out, it was actually a Wikipedia entry on this. They were just saying how, these buttons are flush with the device and that's a problem. I think every now and again it might be a problem. They feel really nice because they're bigger. And it just reminds, like I'm getting serious retro feels here because it's reminding me of my old Famicom device. So the little bit that I used this joystick, it worked, so that's good. It doesn't have a button depression to it. R1 and R1. Let's jump here. So they do work, the R1 and R1 buttons. So far, I am enjoying it.